happy to introduce the speaker of today's presentation, Dr. David Sohn. If you Google Dr. David Sohn, you don't get too much information. But his Korean name is Sohn Young-hwan. If you Google Sohn Young-hwan, then there's so much information. If I have to tell you all about him, we're going to have to stay here for 10 hours. I don't think you want that, so I'll make it very brief, okay? And he was born, Dr. Sohn was born in Korea in 1939, February. And even when he was young, he was very fluent in Korean, Chinese, and English. And from 1959 to 1963, he went to and graduated Korean Army Military Academy. That probably is why he's so self-disciplined, you know. 육군사관학교 졸업했어요. Then after that, he was commissioned as a lieutenant specializing in communication. But in 1967, he was discharged because of tuberculosis, 폐렴 때문에 군대 그만뒀어요, tuberculosis. And then in 1968, October 1, he came to US and went to Monmouth College in New Jersey. In 1981, he started a company called ICT. It's International Computers and Telecom Company in Washington, D.C. area with only $1,000. Now, he's been busy through the company all over the world, helping airports. And in 1992, his company was selected to work on computer communication system at Incheon Airport in Korea. He spent almost 10 years over there and worked with them and completed that job. Then in 2002, I wouldn't say retired. He stopped working from ICT. Then in 2008, he established and worked as president of iGlobal University in Ann Arbor, Virginia. That university is accredited with about 450 students working on MBA and bachelor's degree in information technology. And in 2020, he, again, quotation, retired. I'm not sure whether he can actually retire, you know. He's not the kind of guy who can retire. He's just forever young. That's him. And then he retired from iGlobal University. Then since then, he gave speeches all over the world, including India, Mongolia, Jordan, Israel, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, and more. In brief, if I summarize Dr. Sohn's life, he's just forever young as guided by God. And I'm extremely happy to have him as our neighbor at Leisure World. Here's Dr. Sohn.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming despite busy schedule. Thank you, Simon Chang. He introduced maybe 2/3 of my presentation today, so I don't need to spend more time. He may be my spokesperson, personal spokesperson. First of all, I want to thank the CLL, Center for Lifelong Learning, for inviting me to speak, to share my testimony with you. And I noticed that some of you come all the way from Virginia, maybe Baltimore, and so on. We moved here from Potomac, Maryland last year, and some people asked me two distinct questions. One has to do with where are you from? I said, Korea. Republic of Korea. Is that South Korea or North Korea? He said, of course, South Korea. Right? The other distinct question has to do with why, the reason why I moved from Potomac, Maryland to Leisure World. And some of residents who have read my book already, and they saw the big house in Potomac, Maryland, and then why did you have to give up the big house there and move Leisure World? So next two slides will explain the reason, okay? Now, this is the only place in Maryland, state of Maryland, where I can drive my own golf cart, go to a golf course, play golf, and then have a party with friends, and come back by driving my own golf cart, okay? This is the only place. You tell me any place else. And another secondary reason is we attend the Global Mission Church about 1 mile, less than 1 mile from here, South Georgia Avenue, okay? Because of the questions some residents raised, I want to introduce the Korean culture, South Korean, okay? Korean culture, customs, traditions briefly, and then basically talk about my book, my memoir, right? And then as Sohn explained to me, I retired from education sector in 2020, and I'm still working, doing indirect mission activities. So later, I'll talk about continuing education and lifelong learning for myself. And then conclusion and question and answer. And normally I speak to a lot of college students and high school students and assign homework assignment, okay? So there will be some homework assignment for you, okay? As I said, Republic of Korea, I want to go fast because I have about 150 slides. I have to go through very fast. I didn't know this, but according to OEC, Korea is the #1 ship kind of exporting country in the world. It's a famous kimchi. By the way, there's a nice Korean restaurant in Twinbrook Center, Rockville, called the Jangta. I go there at least twice a week. It's the #1 LPGA player in the world. Now, notice, Korea is #1, and United States is #7 last year. Religion in South Korea, Christians about 31%. Now this church called the Yeouido Full Gospel Church is the largest mega church in the world with about 800,000 members. Now this is me. This lecture presented to college, high school students in Mongolia right before the pandemic. I've been invited to many countries, as Sohn Chang said, India, Mongolia. I went to Mongolia about 7 times, mainly to recruit students. Kazakhstan, Vietnam, Jordan, Israel, China, and Korea. This is the second edition of my memoir in 2021. Now, the foreign country students are interested in my background to learn about the American dream, how and where I dreamed of American dream, and then how did I achieve my lifetime vision, and then the American dream. I was born in a small farm in South Korea, and then I learned Korean language from kindergarten or younger. Chinese, Seven Chang said I don't speak fluently Chinese, only read, write, and then English. I went to Korea Military Academy and instead of medical school. I'll explain to you later. This changed my life. I received a full scholarship to study at the U.S. Army School in New Jersey and traveled to many cities, many states for one full year from 1965. I learned for the first time everything about the American dream. And I visited Harvard, MIT, Yale, Stanford universities, and learned about the importance of education. And I learned the American dream, along with the education system in the U.S., has made America the strongest, richest, and most generous nation in the world. I suffered from tuberculosis, which is TB in Korea, heart problem, and I resigned from the army. And I resigned from news reporter job because of the briberies and injustice in Korean society. But I dreamed of the American dream in Korea, not necessarily in America. That's the kind of importance of American dream. Received master's degree in computer engineering from Rutgers, New Jersey, and a doctoral degree from University of Phoenix. I also went to Harvard University to learn more about management, leadership, marketing. And then, as Simon said, I founded International Computers and Telecom in 1981 with only $1,000. Because I didn't have money, I borrowed $1,000 from my wife at that time. But believe it or not, after 2 years later, credit card companies like Visa, MasterCard, and American Express, they loaned me, $50,000 without any condition. So that's the way we survived. And ICT became a major global IT contractor for the U.S. Department of Defense. And later, we contributed to constructing Incheon International Airport for 10 years, and then taught IT and management courses in the U.S. 2008, after I retired from business, I founded iGlobal University in Virginia because my vision is not the business, but education, global education. And then graduated about 10,000 students for 12 years from foundation, from 50 different countries, okay? In other words, a global education. Retired 2020, okay? And then writing books, converting them to YouTube and video. As Simon said, my files on YouTube, and some of them kind of lengthy, but talks about, instead of reading, some people say, instead of reading your book, it's easier for me to listen, so. But unfortunately, they are all in Korean now, but yeah, converting to English and probably later Spanish using AI. In fact, Jane Feldman, the wife of Mr. John Feldman, tried to convert my Korean version into English using AI, artificial intelligence. Presenting lectures and speeches like this one. I'm going to go fast from my about 6 years old Korean Military Academy. Now here it is important. I learned the computer hardware and software at the U.S. Army Signal School. That's kind of changed my life. As you all know, the definition of the American dream, according to Judith Bardwick's book, Danger in the Comfort Zone, the American dream is based on a contract, not just a wording. Contract that says if you work hard, you are going to be more successful than your parents were. Many of you probably owned or own home, and you also have a car, then you are successful in achieving the American dream. So did I. My parents have home in Korea, but they never had the car, but I do own, actually my wife and I own 2 cars, 3 cars, including golf cart. Anyway, this is important. If you have children or grandchildren, try to tell them about the importance of American dream. Now, again, this is another, the American dream exists within all of us, not just Americans, foreigners, international students, all of us with the multiple goals. And more importantly, American dream of pride, American dream of freedom. And one of the most important assets of the American dream is education. I found it in 1965 through visiting many universities in America. Fortunately, I discharged from the Army because of the heart problem. And then I became a news reporter. And I said before, there were a lot of briberies, injustice, not only in the society, but also the government itself. So I couldn't accept any briberies. So I had to resign from the reporter job, and then I complained to God for the personal ordeals I suffered from. This is kind of important, okay? As I said, I ended up going to Korea Military Academy because I couldn't go to the medical school because I couldn't afford to pay. So I ended up going to Korea Military Academy. Later, I was able to go to U.S. Army School. And after I graduated from Korea Military Academy, my dream at that time was to become famous general, like a 5-star general later, right? That was my dream at that time. But I couldn't do because of the heart problem. Now later I can talk about why God kind of led me to suffer heart problem, okay? So, and then I couldn't even become a prominent journalist because I see the social problems in Korea. God's response to my praise, my sincere praise, I was reminded of the following. I love to study and learn from the kindergarten, okay? Study means education, right? I love to learn new languages such as Korean, Chinese, and English. I witnessed the American dream and the education made in the United States of America the strongest, richest, and most generous nation in the world. Everybody, close. Isn't that wonderful? Everybody claps hands, round table. I learned also it's not the law to change the society, but the education system to transform the society and or the entire world. God is continuous. I discovered the 3 Bible verses. The first 2 I knew very well, but third one I couldn't find it until very late. First one, God's purpose of creating each human being, including me, is for His own, God's own glory. In Isaiah 43:7, there are a couple of pastors, they know better than I do, but that's what says Isaiah 43:7. So that's why we pray to God at the end of anything to glorify God, glorify, because that's His purpose. Secondly, God's plan to create each human being, including me, is to bless us, not to harm us, give us hope and a future. In Jeremiah 29:11. The plan is kind of vision, God's vision for us. And then later I found God's guidance on our daily life, for us. To achieve His plan. His plan is to glorify Himself. In our hearts, we plan our own course. In other words, I dreamed of becoming medical doctor. I planned my own course, and then I tried to become a famous general. Right? That's my own plan, my own dream. But God established the steps in our life. Okay, the Proverbs 16:9. My original plans and God's guidance converted from God's plan for me. So instead of medical doctor, I went to Korean Military Academy and become a military officer. Later, I planned becoming medical doctor, but God guided me to go to Korean Military Academy free of charge to get the bachelor's degree and second lieutenant rank. And later, I was able to go to United States Army School to learn almost everything about what's happening there. And then I wanted to become a general, but God somehow led me to resign from the Army because of the heart problem I have. And also, that is the motive I got from God to meet my wife, Sohn. At the time, she was a pharmacist. You read my book, you will find out why God chose Sohn to marry me later. And then, prominent journalist, I suffered from the unjust society in Korea at that time. Not now. Now it's very nice country now, but in 1960s, that was the case. So PPM, I learned from actually from the Korean Military Academy. They always talk about purpose, plan, and milestones. To attack the enemy, kind of unit, you have to have clear purpose, clear plan, clear milestones. But I relate those to the Bible later, as I said before. So whatever I do, business or personal, items, I use PPM all the time. So God's plan, I converted God's plan for me to my own vision, lifetime vision. And my vision became to transform the world by providing most innovative, effective, and affordable education. Because I couldn't go to medical school because I was not able to pay the expenses. So this is an important factor to every human being around the world, with emphasis on underprivileged people, students, financially, physically, and or socially. So I dreamed of the American dream, as I said, and then that's 1968 when I was 30 years old. And then I married Kim, and then stayed, and then that's my plan. And then education system in America, I learned about it. And then prominent professor, and then acquire leadership and management experiences, establish a global university. Since 1968 to present. The Gene and Edward, two sons. Gene went to MIT, graduated from MIT, and Edward from University of Maryland. Got married. And then Gene and Amy have two daughters, Edward and Julie, and son and daughter. That's our travel. By the way, Kim Sohn, my wife, founded Global Children Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization, which has now about, thank you, 8,000 members throughout the world, not only in the U.S., main cities of the U.S., but also Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, and Canada. Mainly to feed and educate hungry children. Got the Master of Computer Engineering from Rutgers University in New Jersey. Doctoral degree. And I went to Harvard University to extend my knowledge in marketing and leadership management. And founded International Computers and Telecom, as I said before. Now, again, based on my own expertise. And I was kind of proud to run my own company. That's why I started the company. PPM plan. I applied PPM to found and run ICT. Purpose. One of the most successful IT and communication companies in 20 years. Plan to receive an IT management contract from the U.S. Department of Defense, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, mainly because they are the biggest organizations to award contracts. And then milestones. I knew all the time the U.S. has its own forces in Korea, South Korea, Japan, and West Germany. So I narrowed down to those 4 countries. That said, ICT grew very quickly and successfully to have branches in these major cities in the U.S., but also foreign branches, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Australia, Germany, and Tanzania. Mainly federal government contracts, defense, and then FAA contracts. So as a result of successful growth, ICT received fastest growing award, okay, number 1, number 2. Nationwide, 76th place. Okay, the Inc. magazine awards 500 fast-growing companies. We ranked 76 in 1992. Now, notice he was vice president at that time, okay? So Keep that in mind, not president. Every year, the Airport Council International, based in England, they rank the best, world's best airports. And 2006 through 2013, Incheon International Airport was awarded the best airport 8 years consecutively. Now, number 10 milestone, last milestone, I founded iGlobal University, which stands for Innovative Global University. The purpose, plan, and milestones, okay? Purpose is to achieve my vision in global education. And the plan, a lot of accreditation, certifications needed to recruit students. And then recruit milestones to recruit not only domestic, but also foreign students from many different countries. Without this certification, you cannot admit the international students. The students' activities. We celebrated Nigeria's Independence Day, St. Patrick's Day. So right before the pandemic, graduation. Now, when I retired from iGlobal University in 2020, I thought I finished, I achieved my vision in global education. They say, wow, that's the end of it, right? However, God said, my prayers, your vision has not been completed yet, but continues as long as I live, as long as I live. So I cried, and then I have no choice. And then I found it as the Great Commission in the Bible that commands me to teach, remember, teach all nations how I discovered and achieved my own vision in global education. So during my life, as long as I live, I have to get involved in achieving the Great Commission. So again, PPM, I applied the PPM. For the extra mile I have to go through, right? The purpose to disseminate how I discovered God's plan for me. And then disseminate my memoir to many people in America and abroad, the publication, right? And then also the video. Milestones to translate my memoir into many languages and disseminate them through both books and videos. Now, if you go to YouTube, as Semun Chang said, there are several videos on YouTube. Inspire students. Now, this is what I've been doing too, okay, through the last year. Vision setting essays. I asked the students to think about their own dreams and then write essays, 2 pages or more, right? They have to reference my book, either ebook or buy, through Amazon.com. And then thirdly, make speech like this one, okay, to share my own testimony. So this is what I do. Disseminate my memoir to many people through publications. Now, it's like 6 different languages now: Korean, Spanish, English, Russian, and then Mongolian and Vietnamese. They are going to be converted to YouTube now, different languages. Now, first one, as I said, is being done through many people. by using artificial intelligence. This is I'm not the expert now, but I'm going to learn more about it. My elder son, Gene, he graduated from MIT. He's expert on AI, artificial languages. So I got to learn from him too. To show you what I do, say thank you very much in Spanish.
Muchas gracias.
See, learn that. How do you say thank you very much in Korean?
감사합니다.
How do you say thank you very much in French?
Merci beaucoup.
See, I'm learning from using AI. So I can convert all the English language to Spanish, later Russian, and so on. Those who haven't received my card, this is business card. One side, my book publishing, and the other side, YouTube. Later, English, Spanish, and so on. I've been invited to speak to different organizations. The summary, it's been kind of a long. As I said, God created me, God created me to glorify himself, okay? And then I found his plan for me. And I converted God's plan to my own lifetime vision in transforming the world by providing the innovative, effective, and affordable education to all the people around the world, especially underprivileged people. Achieved the American dream that helped me establish the iGlobal University and award these degrees to global students, 10,000 students for 12 years. I applied the PPM to almost everything I do. When I go out, first PPM, where do I go? What for? And then what is the milestone? How do I go to Virginia? What time is it? Is it rush hour? I have to plan to leave earlier, that kind. Everyday life. Summary, okay? Again, continuing. My life consists of series of continuing education and lifelong learning. In other words, I have to still continue to educate people around the world to spread gospel, spread God's word. And then also I learn on a daily basis. Well, normally I assign homework assignments to my students. I kind of hold $100 bills, $300 bills, and then if you have correct answers, you will be awarded $100. You know, foreign students, it's a lot of money for students in Mongolia and India and so on. Anyway, but today I'm going to assign different homework assignment to you. Read my memoir, okay, hard copy or ebook. Find out about the city and the place where I met my wife, Kim Sohn. I'll give you a hint. She was farmers in South Korea, not North Korea, okay? And then email your answer to me directly or CLL, okay? Then Kim and I will treat you very nice Korean dinner at the Korean restaurant in Rockville, okay? Up to first five people. Okay, back to question and answer. I have a microphone, portable. I'll welcome any kind of questions or even suggestions to me. Anybody? questions about my life, not the homework assignment. Question and answer about my presentation. Yes. Question and answer is about my presentation about my book, basically. Yes, sir. Could you give him a microphone, Simon? You don't have? Speak loudly, please.
Dr. Sohn, thank you for inviting me here. I just wanted to thank you so much for starting iGlobal University. I remember when you started it back in Annandale, Virginia, and you hired me there as one of your administrators, and your university, it just blossomed, and today it's just a great success. So thank you so much for starting iGlobal University on behalf of all the faculty, staff, students. What a monument, what a great thing you did for the United States and all the countries that were represented here. Thank you so much.
There's Professor Kevin Bell. I hired him almost the first time, one of the professors for my university. He and I have a lot of common, not only teaching, but also spreading gospel, not only in the U.S., but also foreign countries. So thank you for coming and your comments. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know how your students, your graduates have fared after they completed from your university.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I remember my university was accredited, with all the credentials. So some, as I said before, they are mainly interested in coming to United States as students to get the degree from the accredited university, college or universities, but also trying to stay here permanently. They apply for jobs, they apply for permanent residence. So that's their main reason. Not all of them, most of them, okay? So I know, maybe Kevin knows too, some return to their own country and then they become maybe leaders for their country, but some try to, stay here by having, by the way, our university offered so-called optional education. During the curriculum, they are allowed to work outside school, right? Make money, And then some of them graduated, and they are allowed to apply for jobs too. So that's the kind of education system and a lot of students come here for, learn about America, American dream, and then make money too, okay? So that's a good question. Any other question? Yes?
I just want to know, since you got a new golf cart, how's your golf game come along? Is it improved?
No, he must be, I know he's serious golf nut. So we'll give you free ride later, okay? Yes, John.
I'd like to know if you paid your wife back $1,000.
Actually, I paid that a long time ago, but she charged a lot of interest, so, I still owe some money. But again, I didn't have money. That's why I started the company with $1,000. So, but after about 2 months after I founded my company, Saudi Arabia is one of the princes. There are several princes, right? Prince gave us a lot of big contract big contract to design and install the Saudi Arabian financial system. So I went there, I lived about 7 months to do that, and that gave me a lot of seed money for our operation. Again, God led me to get those contracts. Also, the wife of Pastor Paul Kim, who is in Ukraine now, is in charge of Korean Association, Korean Friends at the Leisure World. Okay, so anyway, thanks for coming. Anybody else read my book and then try to inspire your own children or grandchildren. You know, they have to have a dream for their future. Okay, thanks for coming. Thank you.